High on a hill stood a lonely goat herd, yodelay, yodelay, hee-hoo. Ooh, motherfucker fell down again. Yes, it's a time for falling down. Graduation tomorrow. What am I gonna do with my life? Use your acting, Gary. Stop being a faggot and suck that cuck. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll try to raise enough money to buy a new stick-on phone holder. So I've made it through the entire year. Tomorrow's the last day. Without quitting, which is a hell of an achievement, considering the bullying that I was subject to for being an old man. And even though in term 1 I was completely bald, or I was growing back stubble with gigantic cowlicks missing, not really anyone has seemed to notice that I magically grew a new head of hair over the holiday period between terms 1 and 2, which is quite fucking amazing. But I still have to figure out what the fuck to do with my life. I'm thinking I might just go to the United States so I can hunt down Mad Dog. I'm gonna have a final showdown. This whole story can't end with no conclusion like that, right? One of us is gonna die. You or me or both must die. Try to find a wife and kids and settle down. Never tell her about the hairpiece. Or she'll just be understanding about it. I'll say, I'll stop wearing a hairpiece when you stop wearing makeup. This is a 0.03mm poly thin skin, one of a pack of 6 from lordhair.com, using the stick-on hair coupon code. So approximately $560 for 6 full hair pieces. I've only used a leaf shape. I'll do it before. I'm not really breaking any new ground here, but it seems like a lot of new visitors come and decide to comment on a single video without looking at them in context. It's like coming into season 3, episode 8 of Game of Thrones and saying, yeah, but that guy shouldn't have done that to you. It's like, well, did you see what that other guy did to him first? So it makes sense when you see things in context. There should be some kind of IQ test before you can comment on YouTube. Or the people with the highest IQs, comments appear at the top, and all the div kids get put down the bottom. I discovered something again, probably today, when I went to do my hair for class. You see this bit here, how there's a little bit of an indentation missing? Because it's stuck just short of my natural hair, which is shaved back to there. I lifted this one up and I put it back down, and I'm constantly telling you that we need to find the correct balance between overlap and underhang where there's gap. You don't want a gap, but you don't want overhang either. How do you get it exact, given that natural hairs are separated and there are gaps in between them even? So it's not a straight line. Plastic up against, like straight plastic up against a fluffy kind of hairy bio hair. So what sort of gap do you want to minimize the gap? How close should the gap be close? And just from lifting this back up and sticking it back down, because the way I was styling my hair this morning was from all the way over there, and I realized that gap's a bit too big. It was about 3mm, the gap. So after I lifted it up, peeled off the excess glue, just cleaned it with alcohol and then glued it back on and then stuck it back down, which took about 15 minutes. I stretched it over more. And I think the best way to measure the gap is to go over, have a 1mm overhang. There will be a little bit of a lip, though there isn't a lip here now. But worst case scenario, if you aim for a 1mm overhang, or like a 0.5mm overhang, if your human body is able to understand that kind of size, then at least there won't be a gap, and the overhang won't be extreme. I think that's what you should probably aim for. Trying to get things exact. If you are aiming for exact, that's correct, but when you want to give a plus or minus discrepancy, do you want it to be favoring the overhang or the gappage? The underhang, I don't know what it is. I say favor the overhang, because then it will be seamless to anyone looking at it. If you have a big overhang, yeah, they'll see the plastic line along there, in the case of poly. But still, just a tiny little bit of overhang might be okay. You don't want the lip, but then you don't want the gap. So I'd say favor the overhang rather than the gap. That's my idea today. I might change my mind tomorrow. As you can see here, in summertime sunlight, it looks completely real. You can see through to the scalp, right? But you're not really looking at scalp when you see that. What you're actually seeing is the plastic base. But it looks real enough, doesn't it? Looks completely convincing. If you had lace knots, when they weren't bleached properly, you would open that up and you would see black dots all over the place. And at the front hairline, with poly, yeah, so long as you haven't had it for a while and you haven't been pulling out V-loops, just cutting along in a straight design when you cut out from the stencil should be enough to make it look correct. Can you tell anywhere in this image where the natural hair piece ends and where my real hair begins? Can you tell? I mean, people have seen me put these things on will know where it is. But could you actually tell just from looking at that? So for styling today, I've used muck, the orange muck, not the grey muck. And then it's just kind of dried out. So that's my lesson for today. Favour the overhang.